Good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start with the day's top stories. Both houses of parliament disrupted over standoff between CBI and West Bengal government. In the Lok Sabha, Home Minister Rajnath Singh appeals to state governments not to obstruct probe agencies in their work. Bengal governor submits report to the centre on the controversy. BJP delegation led by Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman meets Election Commission officials, charges Mamata government with promoting anarchy in West Bengal. Trinamool Congress accuses centre of misusing CBI. CBI moves Supreme Court accusing West Bengal police of obstructing its probe into the multi-crore chit fund scam in the state. Charges Kolkata Police Commissioner Rajiv Kumar with destroying evidence. Apex Court to hear the matter tomorrow. World marks Cancer Day with seminars, rallies and awareness programs. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu appeals to doctors, policymakers and scientists to come up with effective strategies to check its spread. Prime Minister Narendra Modi praises the courage of cancer survivors. And opposition parties appeal to Election Commission for redressal of EVM tampering complaints, demand 50% EVM results be cross-checked with voter verifiable paper audit trails or VVPATs before declaring results in the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. TMC-led protests paralysed the proceedings of the upper house on Monday. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu made repeated appeals to the members to allow the house to function, but as the protests continued unabated, the chairman adjourned the house first till 2 p.m. and then for the day. After the house conducted formal business, members of the TMC protested over the alleged misuse of the Central Investigative Agency, CBI. Other opposition parties also joined ranks with the TMC. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said that several notices, including from Derek O'Brien of the TMC on the CBI issue, were received. As he rejected the notices under Rule 267 for suspension of business of the House, he stressed that all members will get an opportunity to raise the important matter at length during the debate on the President's address.
Matters to be raised with the permission 0 over. Sri Tiruchi Siva. Yeah. Sri Derek O'Brien, Sri Ram Gopal Yadav, Sri Manoj Kumar Jha, Sri Ashok Siddharth, Sri Sanjay Singh, Sri Narayan Lal Pancharia. They have given notice on different issues, and Sri Derek O'Brien has given a notice with regard to the one is job crisis in India, and the, you have given 2 notices. I am just reading that. Unless you have withdrawn about that job, this thing. Alleged CBI excesses against federal structure. Narayan Lal Pancharia illegal arrest of CBI officers in West Bengal. And Manoj Kumar Jha and all with regard to 13-point roster for appointments in universities and colleges. My suggestion is, number 1, I have not admitted any one of them. But as matter is important, you have an opportunity to discuss it at length in the presidential address. President is address. Yeah. Otherwise, I can also... No, please, this is not go. This is not the go. This cannot...
The TMC members, however, marched into the well of the House.
Also, please.
As the protests continued, the chairman adjourned the House till 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
When the House reassembled at 2 p.m., TMC members moved into the well of the House once again. Chairman Naidu made fervent appeals to members to allow the House to function. He urged them to raise larger issues during discussion on the motion of thanks on the President's address.
I wanted to allow you in the 0 hour, but your members came to the well of the House. You come to the well of the House. You don't want discussion. You don't want discussion. You don't want to discussion. You want to obstruct the House. You don't want. You don't want the House to run? President address is an opportunity for everybody to speak about their state, their issues and larger issues. I don't want this to go on like this.
But as the protests continued, the chairman adjourned the House
At
till
11 a.m.
Tuesday.
tomorrow.
Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. The CBI versus West Bengal police standoff triggered disruptions in the Lok Sabha as well. Home Minister Rajnath Singh defended the CBI, saying the Kolkata Police Commissioner was not cooperating with the CBI probe. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court agreed for an urgent hearing on the CBI plea on Tuesday. Here's a look at all the developments in that story. Disruptions over the Sharda Chit Fund scam led to adjournments in the Lok Sabha on Monday. Responding to the issue in 0 hour, Home Minister Rajnath Singh defended the CBI, saying the Kolkata Police Commissioner was not cooperating with its probe. He also termed the Kolkata police action against CBI officials unlawful and unprecedented.
देश की लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट एजेंसी के भी ऐसा टकराव न केवल दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, अपितु यह देश के फेडरल और यह पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम के लिए एक गंभीर खतरा भी है। संविधान में पुलिस और पब्लिक ऑर्डर यह राज्य के सब्जेक्ट है और हम केंद्र सरकार में इस संबंध में राज्यों के अधिकार का सम्मान भी करते हैं। तथापि संविधान में केंद्र सरकार को यह जिम्मेदारी सौंपी हुई है कि वह इस बात को सुनिश्चित करे कि देश का शासन संवैधानिक व्यवस्थाओं के अनुसार चलाया जाए। मुझे उम्मीद है कि हमारी पश्चिमी बंगाल की सरकार भी इन सारी लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट एजेंसीज को सुचारू रूप से काम करने के लिए जो आवश्यक माहौल चाहिए वह उपलब्ध कराने में वह पूरी तरह से सहयोग करेंगे।
Raj Bhavan sources revealed that West Bengal Governor K.N. Tripathi submitted his report to the Home Ministry after Home Minister Rajnath Singh sought it. Calling Mamata Banerjee's sit-in in Kolkata unconstitutional, the BJP said she should help the CBI in its probe instead of supporting those indulging in corruption.
सिर्फ सीबीआई पूछताछ करने गई है और एक पुलिस कमिश्नर के समर्थन में उसके साथ धरना पर बैठी हुई हैं। जो ममता जी दो एमपीज की गिरफ्तारी पर खामोश रहती हैं, वो एक पुलिस कमिश्नर 89 बैच के आईपीएस अफसर की गिरफ्तारी पर इतनी व्याकुल क्यों हो गई? वो यही है कि लगता है राजदार बहुत जानता है और राजदार को बचाना जरूरी है।
The TMC claimed the centre's role in the matter amounted to political vendetta.
Mr. Modi cannot fight the Trinamool politically. They know that they will never be accepted in Bengal, so they are resorting to this political vendetta, especially after what they saw on January 19th at the United India rally.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court agreed to give an urgent hearing on Tuesday on the CBI plea, alleging destruction of electronic evidence relating to the Sharada Chit Fund scam case, allegedly by the Kolkata Police Commissioner. Matters took a turn for the worse when the Kolkata police detained 5 CBI officers who reached Police Commissioner Rajiv Kumar's house to question him in the Sharada scam on Sunday evening. They were released a few hours later. Meanwhile, Mamata Banerjee's dharna against the CBI action entered its second day on Monday. With inputs from Ravindra Singh Shoran, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Speaking exclusively to Rajya Sabha TV, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Vijay Goyal said that the session of the Rajya Sabha could be extended if disruptions continue to stall proceedings of the House. Let's listen in.
Government's strategy to ensure that the remaining session, the House transacts business.
देखिए, सदन के अंदर बहुत महत्वपूर्ण राष्ट्रपति के अभिभाषण पर मोशन ऑफ थैंक्स धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव होना था, किंतु पश्चिम बंगाल में जिस तरीके की राजनीति चल रही है उसके चलते हुए आज सदन के अंदर हंगामा होता रहा। संवैधानिक संस्थाएं सीबीआई जैसी अपना काम कर रही हैं। तृणमूल कांग्रेस के खिलाफ जो भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप हैं वो आज नहीं हैं, वो पहले से उनके ऊपर इंक्वायरियां चल रही हैं, जांच चल रही हैं, कांग्रेस के समय से चल रही हैं। उसको लेकर आप सीबीआई के अधिकारियों को अरेस्ट कर लेंगे और संवैधानिक संस्थाओं को मानेंगे नहीं और इसके ऊपर आप राजनीति करेंगे, धरना करेंगे और उसके बाद संसद में हंगामा करेंगे, उसको चलने नहीं देंगे, तो ये तो ठीक नहीं है। संवैधानिक संस्थाओं का तो आदर करना ही पड़ेगा, तृणमूल पार्टी हो या दूसरी पार्टी हो। दूसरा, ये सारी जितनी भ्रष्ट पार्टियां हैं जिनके नेताओं के भ्रष्टाचार सामने आ रहे हैं, ये सब इकट्ठी हो गई हैं। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि इस तरह की राजनीति से संसद के कार्रवाई का नुकसान होता है, तो इसलिए आप अपनी राजनीति वहाँ रखिए, उसको संसद में मत लाइए।
But sir, the opposition parties are alleging that the government or the centre is misusing investigative agencies.
जो एजेंसी सीबीआई सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश से काम कर रही हो, तो आप उसको ये कैसे कह सकते हैं कि हम मिसयूज कर रहे हैं या दुरुपयोग कर रहे हैं? तो ये तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश से सीबीआई कार्रवाई कर रही है और आप देखेंगे कल सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जब फैसला आएगा तो यही फैसला होगा कि तृणमूल ने गलत किया है।
So there's consensus to take up 6 bills in the Rajya Sabha. What is going to be your effort now to ensure that all sides sit together and pass crucial bills before, because this is a very crucial session before the general elections?
देखिए, राज्यसभा में हमने शुरू से ही सभी पार्टी के नेताओं के साथ बैठकर इस पर चर्चा की कि पहले हम उन बिलों के जिन पर किसी प्रकार का विवाद नहीं है उनको हम पारित करते हैं। तो ऐसा विपक्षी दलों ने भी बताया कि इन पार्टियों इन बिलों के ऊपर हमें थोड़ा सा ऑब्जेक्शंस हैं, तो हमने अभी 6 बिल वो लिए हैं। 4 और बिल भी हैं जो हमको लगता है कि जिन पर कोई विवाद नहीं होगा वो पारित होंगे। उसके बाद जो बाकी के बिल हैं हम उसको लेने की कोशिश करेंगे। सदन में इस समय लेजिस्लेटिव बिजनेस करने के लिए समय बहुत कम है। ज़रूरत पड़ी तो फिर हमें राज्यसभा के दिन बढ़ाने पड़ेंगे।
Thank you so much for talking to us. Reporting from Parliament with camera person Anirban and Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
The BJP has accused the Trinamool Congress government in West Bengal of not allowing its political programs in the state and sought the Election Commission's intervention on the matter. In the interest of wanting free and fair Lok Sabha polls, a high-level BJP delegation submitted a memorandum to the Election Commission to highlight instances that show that the TMC does not believe in democracy. The BJP delegation included Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi and SS Ahluwalia, and BJP leaders Kailash Vijayvargiya, among others. Attacking the West Bengal government, Nirmala Sitharaman said that the TMC is rattled with the BJP's growth in the state and hence it is restricting programs and not allowing rallies of the BJP in the state. The BJP has demanded that the poll panel thoroughly assess the alarming situation in West Bengal. The BJP delegation also requested the poll panel to remove those state government officers who it said are hand in glove with the TMC government.
हमने चुनाव आयोग से मांग की है कि स्वतंत्र, निष्पक्ष और भयमुक्त माहौल में पश्चिम बंगाल में लोकसभा के चुनाव हों। इसके लिए जो वर्तमान हालात और परिस्थितियां हैं उसका चुनाव आयोग आकलन करे और जो अधिकारी तृणमूल कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता की तरह भूमिका निभा रहे हैं, तृणमूल कांग्रेस के हिंसक घटनाओं के हिस्सेदार भागीदार बने हुए हैं, उनको भी चुनाव के ड्यूटी से मुक्त रखा जाए और साथ ही साथ जो सेंट्रल फोर्सेस हैं उनका डिप्लॉयमेंट भयमुक्त और स्वतंत्र माहौल में चुनाव के लिए जरूरी है।
Leaders of several opposition parties also approached the Election Commission on Monday, seeking redressal of the issue of alleged tampering of electronic voting machines. The opposition leaders demanded the poll panel ensure that 50% of EVM results are matched and cross-checked with voter verifiable paper audit trails, that is VVPATs, before declaration of results in the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. The leaders also told the Election Commission that the people of the country doubted the efficacy of EVMs and this issue needs to be redressed. The opposition delegation included Ghulam Nabi Azad, Mallikarjun Kharge, Ahmed Patel and Anand Sharma of the Congress, Chandrababu Naidu of the TDP, Majid Memon of the NCP, Derek O'Brien of the TMC, Ram Gopal Yadav of Samajwadi Party, Satish Chandra Mishra of BSP, Omar Abdullah of the National Conference, Mohammad Salim and TK Rangarajan of CPIM, Manoj Jha of the RJD, Sanjay Singh from Aam Aadmi Party, D. Raja of CPI, Danish Ali from the JDS, NK Premchandran from the RSP, Badruddin Ajmal of AIUDF and KG Kenye of NPF. The delegation met the Chief Election Commissioner and other members of the poll panel. Earlier, the opposition parties had sought moving back to the ballot paper system, but after the Election Commission made it clear that there was no possibility of going back to the old system, they changed their demand to matching of 50% EVMs with VVPATs.
तो हमने मांग की है कि चाहे लोकसभा इलेक्शन हो या विधानसभाओं का इलेक्शन हो, तो इसमें 50% जो वोट है ऑफ 100% वो ईवीएम से में गिनना चाहिए और 50% वोट गिनना चाहिए जो पेपर ट्रायल है उस पेपर ट्रायल को गिनना चाहिए, उसको डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं करना चाहिए.
And for more on that story, we're being joined on News Tonight by Mr. Sanjay Singh, political editor, First Post. Sir, thank you for joining us on News Tonight. So the opposition delegation today demanded that 50% of EVM results be matched and cross-checked with VVPATs. Now, what is this exercise going to achieve? What do you think? Will the poll panel agree to the opposition's demands?
I don't think poll panel is going to agree to this demand. Basically, see, EVMs were working all right when Mamata Banerjee won elections, assembly elections twice.
Yes,
and last
exactly.
time with increased number. EVM was working fine when Mamata Banerjee got 34 out of 42 seats in West Bengal. Next parliamentary election is yet to take place. But from now, this particular bogey is being raised by Mamata Banerjee and rest of opposition party. And this puts a very bizarre situation when Chief Minister herself is on a dharna, when assembly is in session. And then out of blue, you raise a demand about talking about EVM malfunctioning. Whereas EVM's track record is kind of unchallengeable. The EVM in India is infallible. Time and again, it has been proved. But when it suits your kind of, you want to make a political narrative that we are going to, this is a presumptive action whereby you think that your performance in West Bengal would not be as good as it was in 2014 or
Certainly.
nationally, you are not going to compete with Modi in 2019 and therefore you start raising these kind of questions. EVM, remember EVM was introduced when Rajiv Gandhi was Prime Minister. And then an amendment was made in Representation of People's Act. Today, his son Rahul Gandhi is against EVM. I don't know, this puts a very, very bizarre situation whereby a system was created, tested, and time and again, Election Commission of India had challenged anyone to go and prove that EVM can be tampered with. Nobody has come forward when Election Commission has put out this challenge. There are several layers of testing and counter testing and so on and so forth, where representative of all political parties are present. But this is to say is that we are not going to win elections, and therefore you start kind of punching holes in EVM functioning when none actually exist.
Certainly, as you mentioned, the Election Commission has consistently maintained that till date, no incident of tampering has ever been proved or detected so far. So why do you think the opposition parties are not convinced, despite the fact, and as you mentioned, that, you know, as it suits their need, when they win, the mandate is against the ruling party. But when they are losing, or as you said, it's a presumptive decision that they are taken, that when you not perform well, the EVMs are tampered with.
I would say they have not yet reconciled with their defeat in 2014. I would also say, see, Mamata Banerjee is in power in West Bengal, and it was EVM which propelled them to power. Look at Arvind Kejriwal. EVM gave him 67 seats in Delhi. Mamata Banerjee came back to power, and it was EVM which brought her to power. Chandrababu Naidu out there in Andhra Pradesh is in power because EVM, people actually voted through EVM, and there are several other political parties. EVM was fine when Tejaswi Yadav became Deputy Chief Minister in Bihar, and since the time Nitish Kumar pulled out from kind of dropped RJD, EVM started functioning badly. I think these are issues. Congress was in power for 10 years, then EVM was functioning fine. And when you allege EVM tampering, when Congress was in power at the center, and remember, as I told you earlier, it was Rajiv Gandhi who actually brought in this amendment and made EVM kind of, EVM was introduced for each and every election in India.
Certainly.
And therefore, this has been a time-tested practice. You want to create confusion in a certain section of people that EVM can be tampered with, EVMs are tampered, and therefore to convince people, at least a section of people, that Modi's wave or charisma or popularity actually is not the way you perceive, but it is actually, it goes by tampering of EVM. I think political battle in political arena has to be fought politically. Something else is happening in West Bengal, and therefore to cover that, to change that narrative, you suddenly bring in EVM and start talking about it.
Exactly. And what's noteworthy is that India has been using electronic voting machines for several decades now. And so far, like the Election Commission has consistently maintained that there has been no evidence of EVM tampering that's been proved. Thank you so much, Mr. Sanjay Singh, for joining us on News Tonight and putting things into perspective for us. Moving on in the bulletin, Rishi Kumar Shukla took charge as the new director of the Central Bureau of Investigation on Monday. He will lead the country's premier investigative agency for the next 2 years. He was appointed by the Prime Minister-led high-powered panel on Saturday. Rishi Kumar Shukla was the chief of the Madhya Pradesh Police and is known for his work against terrorism. He took charge of the agency from interim chief M. Nageshwar Rao, who was appointed after CBI Director Alok Verma was removed over corruption allegations. And a Delhi court on Monday sent Sunanda Pushkar's death case to Sessions Court for further proceedings. The case was against her husband and Congress leader Shashi Tharoor. Additional Chief Metropolitan Magistrate sent the case to Additional Sessions Judge since the offence was triable by a Sessions Judge. The court also directed Delhi Police to preserve vigilance report on the matter. Sunanda Pushkar's husband Shashi Tharoor has been charged under Sections 498A and 306, abetment of suicide of the Indian Penal Code. He has not yet been arrested in the case. Remember, Sunanda Pushkar was found dead in a suite of a luxury hotel in Delhi on the night of 17 January 2014. And news just coming in a huge victory for Indian investigating agencies. The UK Home Secretary has cleared fugitive liquor baron Vijay Mallya's extradition to India. His extradition was ordered by a UK court back in December. Vijay Mallya faces a case of loan default to the tune of 9,000 crore rupees, besides allegations of money laundering. And on World Cancer Day, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu called upon doctors, policymakers and experts to create greater awareness on cancer prevention. The Vice President said that there is a need to adopt healthy lifestyles and proper eating habits. He also said that there is an urgent need to establish cancer units for early detection, diagnosis, treatment in rural areas at an affordable price. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also said his government is committed towards ensuring early detection and affordable treatment of cancer. He also appreciated research on cancer and said it will help a lot in ensuring a healthier planet. The Prime Minister reiterated that initiatives like Ayushman Bharat have a strong emphasis on providing quality healthcare and also ensuring cancer-free lives to people. He hailed all those who are valiantly fighting the disease. World Cancer Day aims to save millions of preventable deaths every year through education, raising awareness, and by pressing governments and individuals across the world to take timely action against the deadly disease. This year, the Union for International Cancer Control, which organizes World Cancer Day, is launching a new 3-year campaign with the theme, I Am and I Will. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks very much for your time.